go. Recovery Drive is back. Thank you so much for everybody joining us live tonight. If you're watching after the fact, thank you to you too. We want you to catch all this awesome content. The usual suspects have returned. My name is Adam Thursby. Right next to me, as you see on that side, I actually pointed the right way this time. Birthday boy, Mr. Anthony Anderson, the man, the myth, the legend. Straight down, I can point the right direction that way, is Mr. Retro Coffin's hair is here again, ready to rock and roll for Recovery Drive. And joining us, the man, the myth, and the absolute legend, Mr. Philip Milwee, down. Whoops, see, I went the wrong way. That way. In the bottom right-hand corner. Welcome in, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me back here. And we do have on audio only Mr. Kevin Huffman. He's going to be rolling us through some stuff tonight too, to talk about a whole bunch of different topics. But this is a little bit different show than what I think our audience is used to, right? Every show before this, every show prior to now, we were here to talk about ACC. We were here to talk about GT3 racing and ACC and what tracks we were at and what did we run last week, what did we run this week, and everything, right? A little different this week. We're here to talk iRacing, and we're here to talk IMSA and Daytona. And it was...
And Porsches, right?
And no, well, maybe... the occasional Porsche. If someone happened to drive one, they could tell us what car they drove. Beyond that, I don't know why we have to talk about Porsches. There were a lot more Cadillacs than Porsches on track, and that's a manufacturer you've never heard on this show before. So if you're unfamiliar, the IMSA series kicked off this past Saturday at Daytona. 3 classes of drivers, GTP, LMP2, and GTD, which is basically GT3, around the Daytona track, encompassing most of the oval, and it was quite interesting. Let's just start up front, because again, this group, you know, we've done this show quite a bit. This group here has always talked ACC. I know Anderson and Retro, you guys both participated. Phil covered the race. I know you all are iRacing veterans. It's not as if it was your first ever time in iRacing, but how is it different than what we normally do? How is it different than ACC? And I don't mean just necessarily car classes, because we've done multi-class racing in ACC. What jumps out at you going from something like ACC to AC, going from ACC jumping into iRacing? What's the big difference, Anderson?
Much more punishing for mistakes, for sure. ACC, especially with how it navigates different terrain, is much more forgiving. You can drive through grass pretty easily, where iRacing, if you touch it, it's kind of like a gravitational pull into the wall. And then the wall is not exactly a fun time when you hit it, and then you're having to tow back to the pits for a 15-minute repair. So that's the big difference, I'd say.
All right. Retro, how about you?
Yeah, it's different braking. The braking is definitely a lot more touchy. Besides that, I don't have to worry about the rain, but it's I don't know. It is more difficult. Like if you touch any part of the grass, like especially like Daytona T1, if you go and you just dip your inside tires a little bit into the grass, it's gone.
Yeah.
In ACC, you can just kind of like dip a whole tire, and who cares?
Gotcha. Phil, would you agree with these two and what they have to say? I mean, I know you didn't race this particular race, but you are an iRacing guy. Where do you see the differences in the two?
I mean, the most obvious for me is just the behavior of the cars, because you've got access to so much more material in the game. Like we got to race with cars that didn't have ABS, for example. So that was probably a really interesting experience for folks from this community that may not have been up to speed with racing like an LMP2 or GTP. I know that I did watch Retro light his tires up more than once.
No.
So I don't think he's going to get a contract with Pirelli. Just saying.
It's the Porsche butt wiggle. Like it just got to wiggle its butt every once in a while.
Speaking of which, you were the only Porsche in GTP. Is it still count as a Porsche after it goes into the fence in the oval?
Only if somebody takes you there.
Porsches,
okay, right.
Porsches at that point. We have to pluralize it.
I'm just curious.
Trust me, when I saw all sky and then I saw stands and ground and sky and ground, I was like, that doesn't look right. Something is happening. Something is amiss.
And there, Pete. Hey, by the way, Retro Pete says hi in the chat.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware.
Hi, Pete.
No,
Kind of what the guys were saying though. Grass
Mhm.
is changing terrain in this game, going from asphalt to grass and stuff like that is pretty punishing.
yeah, and
sure.
Retro. You mentioned the brakes, but Phil, you a little bit too. The no ABS in the GTPs. I actually drove this race. I think it's the first time I've driven with the league. But what it really was for me was you take the combination of iRacing in general being more touchy about brakes, and then add on to it getting into a car with no ABS, and it was interesting to say the least. Lewis Ricard, was talking to him last night, and Anderson was there a little bit, and Lewis said, basically I have ACC brake brain, right? Like ACC, when you hit the brake zone, you just push it all the way down. Doesn't matter. Just hammer that thing all the way down. You're good. iRacing in a GTP or probably the LMP2s. I've never driven them. And even I would say iRacing in general. You don't use. You paid for a whole brake pedal, but you better not use all of it because it's not going to work out well for you at all in iRacing. So it's I was just curious to find out the differences for you guys, or what you felt was so different or similar. As we take a look here a little bit at the start of the race from the other day on Saturday, I want to get to the results. I want to get to the standings, the points, and everything. But how'd you guys feel about the multi-class with this? I mean, there's such a disparity in the speed of these vehicles from GTPs all the way down to the GTDs. Personally, I actually get to talk about my race experience this time. I was actually very happy, even though I ended up getting punted in lap 2, had to sit for repairs, get towed. So way out of contention. Not that I would have been fast anyway, but I was actually happy with myself in that I felt I navigated the GTD cars pretty well. I mean, how do you guys feel the race went overall? And Phil, especially, let's start with you because you had that 100-foot view broadcasting. This felt like a really clean race.
I mean, there were definitely some dramatic moments, but given that we're talking first time running a race like this in this simulator with this group of people that have not raced together that much, it was very, very well put together. And I think that most of the people that participated, I'd say all the participants really should pat themselves on the back a little bit. Because while there definitely were incidents and there definitely probably were some salty feelings and stuff like that, by and large, it looked really clean for this level of inexperience, both in the field and with kind of like with us as an organizer in the simulator.
Yeah, I mean, again, I got tabbed. Retro, you had your incident. Those were the only 2 reports. Right, those are the only 2 we got. Now, I think there were others in going through the replay. I think there were some other minor ones. What I mainly noticed in watching the replay, though, was individual cars off track. Again, people braking a little too hard and sending those cars off. But yeah, to your point, Phil, I think this was a super clean race. And see, this is what I'm talking about in these replays. Things just randomly disappear.
Oh, but that's the other thing too, is that like with replays is that if the netcode, like if the client stops recording the car's position at any point in time, it's just going to vanish and you're going to be kind of like looking,
Gotcha.
whoa.
And there's my incident right there.
Yeah, there you go.
We happen to get it. I just happen to
There's
focus back on
There's
it.
no, you can't park there, sir.
Yeah, no, that's not where I'm supposed to be. Given that there's only a third of a car left with the tail and the front gone. And then I couldn't drive it.
That's
So
Retro's car after the last corner.
I'm pretty sure Retro's car was a little bit shorter.
Shorter
wheelbase, much shorter.
I'm surprised the engine was still running on it.
It counted at that point. It wasn't so much a Porsche as it was like a VW Beetle.
It was getting there.
Adam, which incident was that? Was it your first or fifth? I don't remember.
For me?
Sorry.
Excuse me, sir.
Dang.
Wow. Huff, the other, by the way, I forgot to mention, it is also Mr. Kevin Huffman's birthday. So everybody, happy birthday to Kevin Huffman today and to Mr. Anderson. They share
Thank you.
this glorious day that apparently they were both born on. Seems a little suspicious to me, but what do I know, right?
It's a Box 3 official holiday.
It is.
It should be, right? We should celebrate this. No, actually, it was it was my only incident. Every other time I spun myself or I cut the track, and the incident points we're getting there. We do have a rule kicked in for 15 points. You get a drive through. So I was close. I was real close. I think I got to 13. So
Yeah, I got mine on an off track and just like.
Oh, you had to run through?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I think like 2 laps from the end.
If that wouldn't have happened, I'll bet you wouldn't have been in a position to get plowed in that last lap, huh?
I mean,
like you probably would have been somewhere else on track.
People pay extra for that, but he got that one for free. So.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask about. Lewis talked about it in chat. 14 X's. Like, how many X's were you guys rolling with?
I was at 16 by the end of the race. Well, not counting the whole flip flop, sky ground thing.
Yeah, I was at 13 myself.
9?
And what was the cap for the race? If sorry, I'm unaware.
Every there's no cap. You won't get kicked out. But every 15 you will get a drive-through penalty.
Okay.
It also always defaults back to my car. It's weird. I think a lot of people had points. I mean, GNMC2 in the chat, 9 or 11. Alex only had 5. Lewis was at 14 for the last 8 laps. I don't know how Lewis had 8 laps left and didn't get just that one more as going through the bus stop.
Yeah, that was killer. The bus stop was a lot of incident points happened there.
Yeah. I think a lot of people pulled him from that space. So absolutely. But let's, I had another question for you guys specific to this. Again, I was really happy with the way this race went. We'll get over to standings here in just a second, but I was really happy with the way this race went. I thought it was fantastic. Very clean, very, overall, I don't think any of us have any reason to complain, and it's going to continue for Sebring. That's what I actually wanted to bring up. I do want to thank all of the drivers for their patience on Saturday, given the server issues we had. For whatever reason, that server would just not come up. I don't know why. There's settings we've used in the past. They are pretty standard. Right? There was nothing weird there. We thought maybe we had it the first time with an issue with team settings, but from there then it still would not launch. We ended up having to do a hosted session. So I wanted to announce to everybody here, and I'll put a message out to the in the iRacing channel as well. This Saturday, no race this Saturday, right? Sebring is the following week on the 28th. What I intend to do this Saturday though is spin up a 2-hour practice race for Sebring. It's going to be a hosted session with a password. It's going to use the same settings that we, weather and everything that we will use next Saturday for the Sebring race. I just want to make sure it launches. That's it. I just want to make sure it launches.
When you say it's hosted, you're going to actually add it as like a league race into the IMSA season and let the league mechanic launch it? Or are you going to?
I think so, yeah. I think I want to do that, even though it's going to kind of screw with the season, but I would rather know that we have the settings correct to continue.
I would just say, I mean, one thing to consider is you could just do hosted races for the rest of the season.
We could. Yeah, we could. The points come across. I mean, you can still grab the file from iRacing to dump into SimGrid, so it's really not a huge deal. It's really not. Yeah, we could try that. I want to make sure we're going to launch. And so if it means launching a league race that doesn't really count, it's just a practice race for the week. Yeah. Folks can come together, we'll announce it. There's not going to be any stewarding. There's not going to be no broadcasting, none of that. It's literally just, hey, you want to practice, go practice. And hopefully enough people show up and hopefully it launches, so. Yeah. That's my goal. But let's get back.
By the way, if I may, shout out to Dylan Bittman for hosting the session that people were like kind of warming up on before the race started. That was very nice of him to do.
Absolutely. I do thank him for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Phil. Because what a lot of people I think don't realize, that's the other big difference between ACC and iRacing is when we host these servers, there's a cost, right? There's a cost there. it's 50 cents for an hour, but still there is a cost, and so you got to make sure you have all the funds there and everything. And it's not like it's that big a deal. But thank you to someone from the community who would do that. And yeah, I really wish iRacing would come out with some, like ACC, you can self-host a server. I wish, even if it was gimped, if they said like, you know what, max 15 people, practice session only, you can't host races. You can only practice with your buddies. And you can self-host without paying. I really wish they'd do something like that, right? You'd still get the money from the races, so it's not that big a deal, but whatever. I guess they never will. But let's talk a little bit about standings after this first race, or the results of this first race. Retro, you should be happy.
I am.
Gilherm Rice finishes in the number 21 Porsche first in the GTD class. And we are in GTD first, so we got a Porsche up front. Robert Lewis in second. Marcus Jutz in third in another Porsche. So who's boy?
Robert Lewis.
There you go. Nice.
Every time I went,
it's 949 sim racing right there. That's all. That's my lineage.
Oh, okay. I see why there's favoritism now. I got you.
100%. As much favoritism as a commentator can throw at a race.
There you go.
Got it.
Marcus Jutz puts another Porsche on the podium for week 1 at Daytona. So again, Retro, you must be just all kinds of happy.
Yeah, every time I went by and the crew chief would say that's their class leader, it was just like, yeah, buddy, yeah, go get it.
After Marcus and the podium comes Noel. This is the first time using these names because I didn't talk with Phil on Saturday. Noel Jakowitz in the number 77 BMW. Killian Cornely in another Porsche in P5. Adam Willey finishing in the Lambo P6. Keith Gatehouse, Tony Tornin, Goncalo Barros, and Thiago Alves. Thiago Alves did not participate, so we only had 9 drivers in GTD. I knew I was going to do that because I always like to do the top 10, and I saw that earlier and knew I was going to screw it up. So 9 drivers in GTD this week. Guillermo Reese going to lead out the start of the season with this. Let's look at LMP2s now. There he is. Mr. Dylan Bittman wins first place with a 1:35.705 fastest lap, 350 points. And now this is part of what I was talking about. If we go real quick back to the GTDs, you'll notice that this only has 30 points. That is incorrect. That is not IMSA scoring. That is not iRacing IMSA scoring, and that is what we're going by. Now, the only thing I can't do, and I really don't think it matters overall, I wish I could do it. You can't change individual scores on SimGrid, so I can't take this and make it the 350. What that also means is I can't take this number and add in the qualifying points that IMSA gives for qualifying position. So we're just going to have to go by the straight race scores for this season. Maybe we can figure that out down the road. Maybe we just use iRacing scores in the future. I don't know, but we are hosting on SimGrid, so I wanted to keep everything in one place best I could. So let's look at LMP2, where you will see scores are correct. This is iRacing IMSA scoring 350 points for first place. Dylan Bittman takes that. Dimitri Athwal in second, and Louis Ricard, he's in our chat right now in the number 96. Hammer down for third. Chris Turner and Will Green. Great to see Will Green back out on track with the league. Haven't seen him in a minute. Jumps in the LMP2 and takes up P5. Mr. Anderson, how about you? Let me ask you something, Anderson. Again, coming from ACC, that's where I know you. You're a very spry boy. You're very speedy. Do you like, and I'm not saying this isn't speedy. What I'm saying to you is, were you happy with this result going from, I only know you in GT3. The audience, the people watching only really know you GT3. Now you're in an LMP2 car placing 5th. Were you comfortable in the car? Do you feel like you can get more out of it as the season progresses?
And does washed.
Yeah, apparently I'm washed, which is actually kind of not wrong, because I do have quite the story about this race. I think I qualied P6, so ultimately I didn't lose anything at the end of the day. But at the same time, there was a point where I was in third, and then just to get into the start of my eventful day was the first pit stop, where I completely overshot the brake board because can't 100% brake those LMP2s, so I locked the brakes past the pit board. So I had to back her back up. And then
you hold on, you didn't get DQ'd for that?
I didn't way overshoot it. I just slightly overshot.
Because we did have a driver that got DQ'd for backing up in the pits. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, everything was good with that. Went all the way back around, and then my big blunder was I obviously, like, a lot of people in iRacing use separate overlays because iRacing doesn't give you a whole lot. So my fuel calculator was telling me like what I should put in, and it's all calculated in liters because ACC, I'm used to that. But iRacing was set up in gallons. So I was like, why is it only filling my car with 4 liters of fuel? So I quick dumped like as much fuel as I could, and I didn't realize like it was set up in gallons, not liters. So I completely filled the car again on the second pit stop instead of just doing a splash and dash.
Oh, wow.
So I think I went from P4 to where I finished at P6 because of that lovely blunder.
You're just prepared, in case you needed a lot of gas and you just had to drive for another 45 minutes just in case.
Just in case, right? Well, at least, now, again, speaking about that and taking all that into account, Sebring's coming up next in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. Do you feel you're going to get more out of the LMP2?
I mean, as any sim racing race does, like, it just, the car comes with time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still kind of getting to grips with it. As we mentioned before, there's no ABS in this thing, so managing a finicky brake pedal, especially in Sebring where the track is bouncy. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to manage the brake pedal as you go through the race. It varies corner to corner because it's just some corners bounce and some don't.
Yeah.
So
yep,
we'll
Sunset.
see where it goes.
Sunset going to be wild in the prototype.
Spicy.
It's going to be wild in the prototypes.
Yeah.
100%. Well, let's take a look. As I said, Anthony Anderson in P6, Steven Tomzik in P7, G. Steven returns with us P8, Daniel Michael in P9, Flip Van Zyl pulls up P10, and a lot more, 14 participants in LMP2. Rob Keesar, Jarrett Skinner, Peter Gifford, and Matthew Thompson rounding out the 14 drivers. Looking at this, Skinner, Gifford, and Thompson unable to finish the race, but at least stuck through and got those points in. Let's jump up to GTP right now. Alex Witt takes the GTP class in the Cadillac along with Major Castleman. They're everywhere. And Daniel Carvalho. I mean, well, you saw what I posted earlier, Retro. I mean, if I'd have known everybody was going to take a Cadillac, I would have probably jumped in the Acura or the BMW just to be different. Just because there's so few on track. But we did say no car changes, so I'll stick with it. Brandon Pfeiffer in P4, Peter Holt in P5, Alex Martin. Hold on. We're going to talk about that. Give me a second. Alex Martin in P6, Gian Cardoso in P7, Retro Coffin right there in P8, Vito Fadolino in the number 999 BMW, Retro in his Porsche, of course. And Patrick Fogel round out the top 10 there for the GTP class. Cody Kern, Mike Jones, Armin Brusso, myself, and Alphonse Guerros round out 15 drivers we had on track for this race. I think, Phil, what did we start with? 38 drivers total, correct?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's a fantastic turnout for this first race, and I really hope it continues. I want these drivers to keep coming back. I had so much fun driving this race. It's been a long time. It was an absolute blast. But I will say my own result, although disappointing, because again, you guys saw the incident. This is one of those things where I will tell people this is why you stay in a race, right? 170 points isn't a lot, but Alfonso had problems, and just me sticking through picked up 170 points, right? Like, that's why I say just getting hammered, you shouldn't quit a race. I hate to see people leave just because of an incident early on. It's just a little disappointing, you know what I mean? But overall, it was good. So this is what I want to ask you, Retro. I don't understand. I saw that accident. I didn't realize this until just now. I saw that accident.
Yeah.
How did he finish in 5th, and how did you finish in 8th? You had to have towed. There's no way you drove across the line.
Yeah, no, my suspension was broken. The car wouldn't turn right at all. So
Okay.
it was stuck full tilt left.
Luckily,
I
you were
think
on the
he was
oval,
able
and
to
that's what those
coast.
people enjoy, right? So you should have just been able
What?
to keep,
Yeah, unfortunately, it just went straight into the next wall on the infield, so
Gotcha.
it didn't want to. But it was a good race. I was real happy with it. One thing we didn't like mention about iRacing being different, you can change specific tires, and
Mm.
that came into play a little bit towards the end,
Hmm.
because I only changed the outside two tires, the right hand side.
Okay.
And some people, I guess it turned out that you didn't really lose that much time if you change all fours.
Really? Okay.
No, you don't.
Yeah, so they change all fours, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm P2. Why am I dropping time like crazy? And it was like, yeah, all of a sudden I'm fighting for P4. But
And your brake discs were on fire. Like
they
they were on fire on the stream.
like they were saying like you don't use 100%. I use 100%. Like I just crank all the brake bias to the back and send it, call it a day, and just see what happens.
So
But then
so you do know that the fuel and the tires go on at the same time.
what do you mean?
The
Oh yeah,
fuel,
they do.
yeah, they
Dude, I
do.
don't know. Like I'm
No.
first like
I'm saying that so in the future you're like, okay, if I change tires, like if you're balancing whether or not to take fuel or tires,
I thought I was doing like
yes.
some big
The answer
brain
is
stuff.
yes.
I'm like, yes, big brain. Just change the outside too. We're good. Like,
Yeah.
no, bad call.
Yeah.
Bad call. Bad call. You know what? Overall, everybody had a blast. I think this past week's race was an absolutely just fantastic. Up next is Sebring. Now, Phil, you're supposed to drive, but we're going to go back and forth this season, right? So I'm going to cover Sebring. You're going to drive it, but you seem to have, I don't know. I see the face, and I heard what we talked about pre-show. Like, do people not like Sebring? Is there a problem with Sebring? I've read some comments this week about it's very narrow, it's very hard to pass, all these things.
Oh, that's typical sim racer complaints. That's
Okay.
just like normal. It's like you could give them like a 12-lane highway to race on. It's like I can't figure out where to pass. So the thing is Sebring is a wonderful track to race on. I love the historical nature of the circuit. I do love the bumps. I do think it provides an interesting dynamic for people, especially in the prototypes. And then also, if I like racing Sebring, like I got to do it in the M4. It's just so much fun in GTD. So
Rock on.
that would be me, 100%.
Excellent. What Retro? How about you? Are you looking forward to Sebring? Have you started any practice yet?
No, actually, I was gonna practice yesterday, and then I realized I had another week, and I was like, oh hell yeah! But I'm excited. I've ran Sebring in the GT4s, and I love it. So we'll see how it translates to the GTPs. It's gonna be a lot bumpier.
Anderson, how about you? You ready? Are you? And I want to talk about what Rose said in the chat here in a moment. But Anderson, are you prepping for Sebring? I mean, are you ready for it? You ready to take that LMP2 out there?
I'm ready for it. Every race is going to be interesting since I've never really driven the LMP2 prior to this series. But I did a few laps of quick practice just to kind of get an idea since I've never driven it, even when I was playing iRacing before. So I have a general layout, just a matter of trying to fine tune everything now.
Excellent. Now, I myself will not be racing Sebring. I will be covering the race right here at Box 3 Motorsports on Twitch. I want to go out a little further, though, because I don't know if I'll get... Well, yeah, never mind. We'll talk about that next time. That was actually what Rose said in the chat. I wanted to bring to you guys as well. Says, never raced in any of these tracks, so I'm enjoying the experience. Now, again, all of you guys have raced iRacing before. This is not the first time, but do you enjoy the fact that you do get more tracks, right? Like there's more to do. Never mind the cars. Let's set it to just straight up GT3s if that's all we were racing. There's a lot more tracks here, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys finding the fact that you have that bigger selection enjoyable? Now, again, this particular series, we're following the IMSA schedule from 2023. But there's a lot of opportunity out there with iRacing, right? So all right, have you guys found other tracks outside of what's available in ACC that maybe are some of your favorites?
Phillip Island.
Okay.
Phillip Island is lovely.
Oh yeah,
All right.
Phillip Island is amazing. For me, Road Atlanta.
Okay.
Road Atlanta's solid. Ooh, updated Indianapolis with the chicane. That takes a whole new sector 1. That one's good.
I think you're the only person on earth that likes Indianapolis Road.
Indianapolis Road is lovely.
And
Lovely.
then anyone that knows me knows I love Interlagos. It's not on ACC. I wish it was, but I love that track.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
I would love to get a Le Mans. We should do a Le Mans. We really should. If we had enough drivers, we should do a Le Mans. I think it'd be fun. Like a 24. You can run a 24.
Le Mans fun.
Louis Ricard, he said RA, so it's either Road Atlanta or Road America. I'm just
Probably Road America.
Is it? Road Atlanta is really fun.
Road Atlanta
It is.
Yes.
Me and
Yes.
Road Atlanta is like my white whale. Like I've never finished a race without some form of tragedy at Road Atlanta. Never happened. One of my favorite places to race in iRacing, but I've never had luck in an event. Never.
Well, maybe at some point that'll change out for you. We'll get you on that race. We're gonna have lots more coming. You know, I some of the stuff I want to talk about tonight, this being our first show back. Now, there will not be a show next week because there's no race this weekend. However, after Sebring, we'll be back for another recovery drive with whoever decides to join us. I'm just so excited for this IMSA season that we're doing. The way we've structured it to carry through, and it almost lined up perfectly, right? Where we're starting exactly when the in real life IMSA season is ending. So people who want that hook, who enjoy watching those races, can now come and participate through 4 or 5 months through the winter. This series doesn't end until March 9th. And I did that on purpose because I wanted it spread out through the winter, give people something to do to come back for. But that's not all. We are also going to look to spin up some other iRacing series. I'd like to go to I'm going to be going to the community with a vote kind of thing, like run a poll, see what people want to drive. The great part about what we're going to do in between, these will be during the week. They're going to be 100% free content. So you don't have to buy anything. I mean, I know this IMSA season, people had to drop on tracks and cars and all this stuff, right? And that's the nature of iRacing. And I love seeing that so many people have done that to be able to participate. But we also want to jump on for some people that maybe don't want to buy all that stuff, right? So maybe some Formula Vs, because I know that's Retro's. I think that's like Retro's favorite car in iRacing is the Formula V. Anderson as well. You guys, like everybody I talk to loves the V. Anybody who doesn't love the V just doesn't know how to drive it and understand that you don't brake and turn at the same time, or you know, like don't do weird things. Just don't do weird stuff. You'll be fine.
You treat the Formula V like it's got one gear, third. That's it.
That's it. But once you're in the third, you're fine. Just cruise. You're good.
I'm just here hoping that we do some ARCA or like ovals and stuff, and just get to yell at each other, drink some beer,
okay. So
blast some Freebird, like, you know.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. If you want to host that series, if you want to build that series, and you want to host that series, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, man. Because I know some other guys that want to do oval racing. Go do oval racing.
Yeah. ARCAs and ovals, and we'll go crazy.
The thing. Like you joke, Molson, but I guarantee you, if they got you into into an oval race, the strategy of it, especially when cautions come out, you're gonna get hooked.
Turn left.
High line, low line.
You're gonna get hooked.
Which line do you want?
It's not about turning left. It's about, like, when do you pit? Like, do you pit under this yellow? Do you maintain track position? Like, that sort of thing. That's why people race those series.
If your strategy has to be built around yellow flags,
it's more big brain than you think.
Like, if you're P1, you're probably not going to win. Like, if you're P1 and you have 4 cars right behind you, you're not winning.
I'm just saying, listen, if you have to plan your strategy around which yellow flag am I going in, maybe the drivers all need to calm down.
No. Just give them more beer and turn the radio higher.
Well, I mean, the reason why that sort of thing happens in ovals is just because they've put too many cars on such a small track. But that's also what makes it, America, right? Yeah. That's why we do it that way.
LA Coliseum. Yes, please. Can we fit 50 cars into the LA Coliseum?
Think about it like the cars we race in iRacing that are on the road road courses and stuff like that. You're like you're racing a Porsche or a Cadillac. What does America celebrate on ovals? Like a
Chevy.
Camry.
Yeah, Camry, Mustangs, and Camaros.
What? A Camry.
I'm surprised there's no Chargers in there, honestly.
Yeah.
But listen,
Anyway.
no, seriously, Retro, if you, and this is what we're talking about when we say, you know, anybody who's watched the show knows, anybody who's part of Box 3 knows, we are a community first, right? We want to do the things people want to do. If there's enough interest in an oval series, absolutely someone should spin one. Now, not going to lie, it's not my hook, right? I loved watching IMSA. Phil got me into it this past season, watching it and trying to learn. Like, one of the things I realized in iRacing just from this first race is that GTPs, when they talk, because almost every in real life IMSA race you watch this season, I heard the commentators say the same thing. When those GTPs come out of the pits on cold tires, they may get passed by GTD cars.
Well, yeah,
right?
it's wild.
Because the tires are so cold and so slippery that you're not put, and sure enough, iRacing for me actually emulated that first lap and a half. You better not get on it. Now, after that, you were able to, because the tires had warmed up. They'd gotten up to pressure. Thing is, that's my thing. So I wanted to run this. I like the GR86. I'd like to do a weekday casual GR86, spin up a server for an hour. Guys can go and race, right? Everybody can come together and go race. Whatever. It's all free content. Let people do it. But if Retro yourself, I know Chief Blaze has talked about it in the past. If you guys want to spin an oval series, spin an oval series, man. Let's go. Bring people in, get them together. I know you guys can hammer it out, and I think we have a lot of members that would enjoy it. Again, it's not my bag, but I think we have a lot that would.
I'm definitely game for a casual oval series. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to get stuck doing, circles to the left.
Mm-hmm.
I'll join in on that. I got plenty of oval cars.
And so it begins. By the end of the season, I'll have everybody listening to Freebird on repeat.
There you go.
I feel like that should be the Friday drink and drive replacement.
There you go.
Just get hammered and turn left.
Get plowed, put on some CCR, and just turn left.
So Retro, if we're doing Freebird for ovals, is after that last race, is it Stairway to Heaven for road for you?
For some reason, I'm still doing Careless Whisper for some reason, and Pete just came over the side and said, "Hey, how's that wall looking?" He just want to take me on the wall. It's fun.
A little inside baseball, but I gotta say, after the race,
it was honestly a super fun race.
It was, and I gotta say, because I know Pete's in the chat, it was. I felt bad because right before that, so you guys had your incident. I didn't see it during the race, right? Right before your incident, and I do want to bring this up to mention to everybody watching. In-game chat use is acceptable. In-game voice chat use is acceptable. There's no name calling. There's no yelling. There's no screaming. Stop it. Okay. Well, it was weird because another driver did that. Called someone an effing idiot over the voice chat, right? So I chirped and said, "Hey, we don't do that here. Knock it off. That's not what the voice chat's for." So then you guys got in your incident. Pete obviously was upset, right? We had the conversation after the race. Pete was upset, goes on voice chat and says a bunch of stuff, except I couldn't understand a word he said. So I think, Retro, it was you sitting there going, well, why do you yell at that guy but not yell at Pete? Like, what's going on here? Because I never even heard it. I couldn't tell what he was saying. It was weird. It was crazy. He was going off though.
And I think it's one of those things is we're both driving. We're both adrenaline up. We both just literally had an incident. And it's one of those things to me, it's acceptable and expected to a certain degree that, temperature adrenaline runs high in the moment. Mm-hmm. But, we can all talk about it at the end. We just kind of okay, this is what I saw. This is what you saw. And this is how we just kind of came over and danced over in the last corner. And it is what it is. What
I thought was great though was, and again, a little bit of inside baseball, but what I thought was fantastic was I was in the VC with you. Pete came in up front. You guys were both hot, right? Right. And I saw my job is I got to diffuse this because, and I said it right to the both of you. I know both of you. You're both great guys. You're both great drivers. Do not start this shit because it's going to be a problem. And sure enough, by the end of the conversation, you guys had figured it out, and there it was, right? Like it was cool. So it was fun to watch the sausage get made for once. Anderson knows all about that with his whatever birthday stuff.
What?
Yeah, you heard me. Let's move on real quick though, because I do want to bring this up. Xbox Racing is back at Box 3 Motorsports starting on October 21st at 2:30 in the afternoon at Zolder. This season, 6 races taking us through into December for Xbox drivers. So get over to SimGrid and get signed up as soon as possible. Right now, only 14 drivers registered. Love to see some more guys get in there. I'm sure some of our regulars are back. A good number of folks. So Fife and Matt and Max have put this together to get another Xbox season going. Talking about how there will be, so the sprint's going to be 30-minute, no required pit stop. Endurance is a 90-minute race. No pit stop requirements, open strategy, have fun. So quite a bit here going on with Xbox. These guys getting another season kicked off for season 8 on October 21st. And Kevin Huffman, who has been very quiet during most of this, what's going on the PC ACC side, my man? What do we got rolling? What's spinning in the background?
There has been quite a few talks about how we're going to proceed with the next season. You know, we wanted to take a break, and you know, it was nice to have this iRacing in the interim. And you know, I think it's going to continue to be a staple, much like we have been with ACC in the past. But me, Ando, and the rest of the team, Blue, a couple of the other guys, you know, we've got some pretty good ideas on what we want to roll with, and it soon trademark.
Soon. All right, perfect. I know. And that's the thing. I know you guys are going to come up with something good, whatever it is. So I think that's what people are going to be
We're trying to
looking
bring
forward
something different. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it was like burnout. Same 40 guys we're racing with next Sunday, different track.
Yeah.
You know, same show, different time. Yep. Pretty much. So it's nice to take a break, step away, and hopefully everyone comes back refreshed and we have something refreshing for them to consume.
Absolutely. And I think that's important. I think the break did everybody good. Whether it's drivers, whether it's staff, you, Ando, myself, and Phil for coverage. You know, I'm enjoying the IMSA season the way it's spread out. And again, Phil and I are splitting that. But so, even if he were doing it all or I were doing it all, I feel like it's a lot easier to do when it's not every week, and that can lead to some burnout for things, and not just for people running it, but for the drivers as well. So. For
sure. And I think this season, we kind of entered this thinking it was going to be kind of a little casual quasi league, but like it's a little sweaty out there, boys. Like it's competitive.
It is.
There's a great man that once said, "If you're not first, you're last."
Indeed.
I just can't with you, Retro. You're driving me crazy. You're kind of stealing Anderson's thunder. It's his birthday, and Huff's.
It is their birthday.
It is. You should sing happy birthday. You should have the hair sing happy birthday to Anderson and Huff.
They got to subscribe to my OnlyFans birthday package.
The OnlyFans birthday package.
Wait,
gotcha.
Hold on. We have to pay on our birthday?
Yep.
How does this work?
Don't worry about it.
Discount code, something? I mean,
do not question the hair, sir.
Best part about it, Phil told me after the race, we talked for a few minutes. He said being in that GTP car, it's a lot easier to see the hair. It sits a little lower, and the hair actually pops out. They had to cut a hole in the top of your GTP car for the hair.
You need to look at my helmet. Like whenever you load up trading paints, just look at the helmet. You'll get it.
I don't even want to.
Now I have to look at this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. What are you just retro coughing on trading paints?
Yeah, but I don't know if it'll show up. Like it's just a helmet that I pulled, but there's a mullet helmet in the works.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Well, you didn't create it.
No, I'm making the mullet helmet. The one that I'm currently having is an eagle mullet type helmet. So
it's not gonna.
I didn't know eagles had mullets.
Eagles always have mullets.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
American freedom-loving eagles have mullets.
Unbelievable. As we discussed earlier, Sebring International Raceway comes up on October 28th for the IMSA season in iRacing. November 11th, we are back. What's that?
I guess I need to register for that.
Yeah, you do. I do need to. Actually, you know what? While I'm here, I just need to withdraw from it. There, problem solved. Long Beach, November 11th. Then we have a nice little bit of a break because in the US we have Thanksgiving. We did want to spread these out a little bit. We're back for the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca on December 2nd. Watkins Glen International on the 16th. December 30th will be the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. This has changed. This is no longer Lime Rock. This will be Miami. I haven't changed it on SimGrid, but it is changed on iRacing. So,
sir, you might want to do the same thing for Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I think it has 35 on the grid slot.
No, we're not changing that one.
So we're gonna just double up.
Yeah, whatever.
It is. That's gonna be spicy.
We'll share. That's a full. Listen, I Lime Rock. I understood pulling. Everybody, some folks had said,
yeah,
Lime Rock's a little tight with all three classes. Even during the regular season, it's just GTD that races there. So I agree with that. So we swapped that out for Miami. I do need to change it on SimGrid, but it has been swapped for Miami per vote by the community. But Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, all the classes are there. Right?
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying
like,
that all the classes are there. I'm saying that if we end up with like 50 cars on Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, pits might be a little different.
It'll be fun. They can figure it out.
Well, you probably won't be too bad if the current split of pit stops was like I think everybody pitted at different times. Like GTDs and LMP2s weren't obligated to pit at the same time.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, no. Then we move on to Road America, VIR, Indianapolis, and Road Atlanta to finish out the season. So IMSA racing all the way through till March 9th. One thing to keep in mind, starting with Long Beach, the race will start at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, which as you see there is 18:30 or 6:30 p.m. UTC. So all the drivers should be aware of that before we get that into that, because the time change happens in the US right after the October race. So, guys, we got anything else tonight except maybe rig roast and review? Actually, no. Kev.
I will say if you don't do rig roast, I will be getting yelled at from my living room.
Oh, no, we're doing rig roast. Don't worry. We got rig roast coming. It's coming. And we're going to hammer some guy. There's one guy at least that's just getting hammered, and I can't wait for it. But I did want to bring this up. Kevin brought this to me. Everyone at this part of the league should be aware that the Box 3 Motorsports folks, 2 teams have qualified for the VCO Grand Finals starting on October 28th. 2 teams, Porsche and Lambo. Mr. Anderson, you're a part of one of them, correct?
Correct.
Lambo
part
team?
of Team Lambo.
There you go. Let's go. So these guys have... Anderson, tell us a little bit about what you had to do. I know there's a SimGrid link that Huff sent me, but tell me a little bit about what you had to do to get here. What did you guys have to do? Races, etc., that you had to do?
So there were certain hosts that were able to, I guess, host the sessions for teams to qualify into the VCO Grand Finals. I'm not super familiar with the whole VCO thing, so I'm kind of just going off of a summary of what I was told. So we took part in that through Trackalicious, as they were one of the selected hosts for the finals qualifier. We did, I think it's like 6 races. And then we qualified in the top 3, or we finished in the top 3 to qualify for a GT3 slot for the VCO finals. And then I believe the Porsche team was P6 or something like that. So they have a playoff spot, which that's what starts on October 28th. There's playoffs for fighting for last slots in the tournament. So I'm sure Kevin can kind of fill in the holes.
Yeah, go ahead,
there.
Huff, with any more details yet.
It's still up in the air on that, but yes, they do have to participate in like a playoff type format to secure the final spot. But they are in there. They've progressed on. Super proud of the teams. They both did really, really well. The Porsche boys, obviously, they had a couple technical issues. There were some disconnects. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were involved in a pretty big incident early on, which, it's racing, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, super proud of the guys. They did an amazing job. The Lambo team of Wes Hepburn, 3-time himself, and yours truly up in the top right. Well, actually, you moved Anderson. And then the Porsche team consists of Charlie, Demeet, and Rob Keyser. They did a really fantastic job as well. Looking forward to see what they can do in the future. This is our first true venture into air quote esports realm. And it's a process and it's a build, and there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of prep work. These guys put in some real work and did an amazing job their first time out. So
excellent.
Great
That's what we like to
job.
hear. It's good to see these guys have built this up and have been able to get to this level and be able to participate. So we will do me a favor, Huff, and just make sure you're announcing that in the Discord. We want to make sure we can watch these races and support
Always
these guys.
share it, man.
Yep,
Yes,
and
sir.
always support these guys as they get ready for the November racing. And Anderson, it won't be his birthday when he's on track that day. No favors, Anderson. No cheesesteaks.
It's going to be a very sweaty league, just to kind of fill you guys in. That's like the top of the top. I mean, we're going to have Jardiers. I mean, that it's that type of competition.
Nice.
Boothby is
It's going to be fun.
in it.
Boothby, yeah. Who else? I kind of looked over the entry list a while back, but there was a ton of names stuck out. I mean, if they're esports level, they're in that series. So
awesome. That is fantastic, and good to see you guys competing at that level too. I think that's just awesome, and hopefully we can keep it going after this is over and maybe jump into something else. So does anybody have anything else before we get over to rig roast? Because if I don't, I'm trying to figure out where my stuff is here, I'm gonna break it. I got to get to rig roast, because if I don't get to rig roast, apparently I will be in quite a bit of trouble, I guess, is how that works.
In my household, yes, you will.
In your household. All right.
I got yelled at because the stream was not on standby like 5 minutes prior.
Oh, really?
I heard it from the living room.
All right. Well, let's jump over to it and roll this out. We're going to jump into the rig roast. Listen, it's been a while again since we've done a show, so I had to jump up through the channel and find what people had posted. So Nagasari posted this picture.
Clean, classic.
No explanation, no information, just the rig sitting there.
Okay.
And I don't know, is he an Xbox racer? Is he a PC racer?
It speaks for itself, man. This is the quintessential Xbox racing setup.
Or
Man's
does
got the
he-
controller down there. He's
There's a
TV's on top
controller.
of the fireplace.
I have a
Where's the
controller that
TV?
connects to my PC though. That
It's
means
gotta
nothing.
be,
Where's
it's
the
gotta be
TV
above
or
the
something?
fireplace. Maybe he's driving into the fireplace.
I was going to say, does he just light a fire?
That's where
Does
it
he
is.
just light a fire and drive towards it because it keeps him warm? I don't. Where's the TV? This was literally what was posted, guys. I cannot make this stuff up.
I don't think it's got any cables. And is that a calculator, like
It's
gray and
wireless.
yellow there?
Yeah,
Cable
I don't know what
management's
that
so
is.
good, it's wireless.
Fair enough. It still looks like he's got a calculator right on top of the shifter.
It does.
Fuel calculator. Maybe Ando needs that too.
Yeah, Anderson might need that.
No, I need a liter to gallon conversion calculator.
1.8.
Does it?
1.8
That's the thing, though. A
liters, 1
calculator's not
gallon.
going to
Oh
help
my
him
God, that's
actually
not
hit his
hard.
marks in the box.
Oh,
Anderson.
It's
That's what
become
she
a
said.
habit. I think that's the second pit stop that we see Ando
Well, somebody said
overshoot.
earlier. Somebody said
know
earlier in
all
the
of
chat
them.
that
All of
somebody
them.
said earlier in the chat that Anderson can't pit in ACC or iRacing apparently. So I don't know how you feel
There's a
about that,
great roast,
Anderson.
guys. Keep it on topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting back to the Endo pit roast.
It's Anderson birthday roast is what that is. Let's jump up here to Forzy. Posted some updates and pictures. He's got an Ace Magician AMR5 mini PC with an AMD Ryzen 7 8500U and 16 gig of DDR4. I kind of like all the signs he's got around and stuff, although I think while driving those would be annoying.
It's very shiny. If I'm not mistaken, they're a recent PC transplant. They just came over from Xbox. So
Yeah. Yep.
I like it.
I like the look, and some of the pictures I couldn't include because of space limitations. Cat's got a ton of like Hot Wheels cars and stuff, like what you see on the wall above it there on the picture on the left. It's like a ton of this stuff. Like, holy cow, he's like a Hot Wheels guy for the way I am Lego. So
I dig it. It's pretty
Good
sweet.
on him. I do. I like it. I just worry. Like I said, for me, the lights, the Xbox and the PlayStation lights would bother me while I was driving because they're so bright, shining in your eyes.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it looks clean. It looks tight. I like the setup. So looking good. Then we have Mr. Adam One Arm Willie. These are the pictures he posted.
Left arm, right arm.
I don't know, but either way, it seems he was more interested in showing his Lilo and Stitch collection and his dirty laundry on the chair than he was in showing the rig. And I still can't figure out how he races this thing, because does he slide the rig under the desk and the wheel stays on the desk, or is he going to attach the wheel to the rig? Or I don't know what's
He's
going on.
got
in
really
these
long
pictures.
arms. Maybe that's what happened to his arm.
Okay, so I'm just confused about there's just plushies in the corner and Stitch and
Yeah.
I don't think this is his actual setup. I don't see any
Is-
Mountain Dew cans anywhere.
yeah, I see like a lot. Is he a 7-year-old kid? Like, what are we? What are
Well,
we
I'm wondering
doing
why he
here?
hasn't put his laundry away. That's my main concern. Is like, why is there laundry on the back of the chair?
No,
That's where it goes.
So he's got a vinyl couch and some Clorox wipes on top of it, and I am concerned about the kind of things that happen with all those plush toys and a vinyl couch.
Oh my
and some
God.
Clorox wipes.
He holds
Wow.
interviews there.
We just went box 3 after dark real quick. Wow. No, I did this on purpose. Poor Adam. No, Adam has finished his rig and now everything is put together. Those were pre-pictures of when, things weren't put together, and I'm like, oh,
There
he
we
posted
go.
them separate. I can just pretend that this is his rig and not show the other pictures. But then I decided I shouldn't do that to Adam. So he does have this set up. What I can't now, here's the only thing I can't figure out. I hope that, and it looks like it's his desktop background. When I first saw the picture on the right, I'm like, why does it look like he's playing Elden Ring with a wheel?
I mean, for me, I would just be just as successful with the wheel.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't play Elden Ring anymore for reasons. But I do see the box poster right above the
I
monitor.
said
on the
merge.
left.
I like that. That's
I
the
like
first
it.
thing that
Let's
stuck
go.
out to me. I like
Let's
that.
go. Let's go.
I like the rainbow bear casually leaning on the top left.
Yep.
Top
Yep.
left page. It's just like relaxing.
Bear's chilling, ready to go. So those are the rig roasts for this week, guys, and I hope my number one fan Retro is happy with these roasts. Let's go back one last time and look at Adam Willie's dirty laundry on the back of the chair and the Lilo and Stitch stuffies that Retro is concerned what might be happening to them.
It's really it's just like a wellness check for those bears. Those bears might be crying out for help.
So
What?
you just took
What am
Toy
I
Story in a
doing
way
here?
dark direction. This is more of a Sausage Party vibe versus a Toy Story vibe, and I'm not sure I like it at this point.
Hey, it's a great movie either way. I don't take this slander on Sausage Party.
I just watched it a week ago.
Yeah.
I think I think it's a fantastic movie. I'm not disparaging the movie. I'm just saying that's the direction that Retro's going right now versus the Toy Story route, right? Like,
But you imagine how many parents take their kids to see Sausage Party thinking it's like a Toy Story
oh
like
my God,
movie?
I hope so. I just hope so. I hope there were so many. I really hope there were so many, and I hook they made it through the whole thing too. I really do. So, guys, let's finish out for this week. Let's. Oh wait, Lewis, Adam Dirty Rig is Sim Rig of the Year. He says in his highlighted message there, Lewis. I don't know, man. The one with the CRT TV and the recline, like the.
Oh yeah.
You remember the one we found? Yeah, like the old CRT and then
It's like a lazy boy.
yeah, and like the lazy boy chair or something.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty good. I was kind of in love with that one. So that I don't know if we haven't picked one for the year yet. We might have to do that. We have to go back.
Yeah.
Since we cleared the channel back, to January,
like
I
it.
think.
Like,
we should go back to the year. We should do one for we should do a whole show that's just
Let's do
rig
Box
roasts.
3 annual
Best.
awards.
Yeah,
could
there
do
you go.
Rigs,
We could
like
100%
idiot drivers,
like-
best drivers.
Like worst, we could do worst cable management. Sexiest
go.
rig, right? Stupid Porsche rig. Like we could do a whole
Shoe in.
stupid,
Awards for
Shoe
me,
in.
sir.
dumbest Porsche rig, right? Like whatever we could do, we come up with a whole bunch of stuff. It'd be great.
You can call them the Boxies instead of the Dundies.
Exactly.
I was
There you
literally
go.
thinking
Yeah.
that. Oh my
That's
God.
perfect. That's perfect. There it is.
We will have to line that up. I am on vacation the last 2 weeks of the year. I think we should line that up. We'll do a show, and we will have the boxies. Retro,
Let's go.
trademark retro coffin right there.
There you go.
Trademark. All right, guys. Let's finish this out. Anderson, close us out for this week. How do you feel about upcoming Sebring, and are you ready to go? And what are you looking forward to? Let's go.
Sebring, it's going to be a spontaneous thing. We'll see with all the bumps in the road. Looking forward to some of the other races in the season. Really looking forward to Road America, Road Atlanta. Those two are absolutely fun. Since I got to have a little experience with them in the actual iRacing official series, so really looking forward to those. Those are kind of my big go-tos for the rest of the season.
Okay, Retro. How about yourself?
I'm just excited to keep driving. There's a lot of drivers in the iRacing League that have not been part of the usual ACC crowd, so I'm just trying to learn everybody's driving habits, and just showing more Porsches on track. We had like 13 Cadillacs out of the 19 GTP, so we can bump up those Porsche numbers.
So rookie numbers. Got to bump those numbers.
Pump them up.
Phil, how about you, sir? And Phil, before you go, real quick, I just want to tell you, if there are specific tracks this season you want to drive, you should let me know. Like, we should coordinate that, right? Do you want to do Long Beach? Do you want to do Long Beach?
I would almost ask.
Do you want to do Long Beach? Do you want to do Long Beach? Do you want to do Long Beach?
I mean, I'll do Long Beach.
No,
I'm gonna do Long Beach. I'm gonna do it in the GTD.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready for Long Beach. I'm gonna be ready for Long Beach. Go ahead, Phil. What are you looking forward to? Where do you want to race this season? What are your hopes and dreams coming out of IMSA Season 1 at Box 3?
Just that people are excited about it and are excited to get to Season 2. Like after Season 1 is done and dusted. Like I'm really excited to see kind of like this is a new ground for Box 3 to tread, and there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of new faces, new competitors, and I just like seeing the competition and having fun. And as far as Sebring goes, I'm just going to be happy to be in front of all of you guys while we're going through the S's section. You will not be able to get past me. I'll make sure of it.
You're talking about like how we lap when we come around and lap you, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in a GTD Retro, so if I'm lapping you, there's a problem.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I might have to limp back to the pits, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you're tootling around in the Daytona VW Beetle, then
Yeah, that was
I think
not
I can
optimal.
stay on front.
That's the whole shark fin was tilted to the side. I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work well.
Yeah. Arrow's gone.
Yeah.
The other thing too, guys, I want to mention, because Phil, you mentioned Season 2, right, of IMSA. I think we need to see how this season goes. Right now, I'm so excited for it, and I want to see how it goes. I want to maintain the full grids and see. But I really think I would love to see this become something we do annually, right? That the IMSA season runs through the season, and we check the calendar and go, okay, the in real life IMSA season ends on this date. Our new season, our IMSA season is going to start on this one, and we're going to do the same tracks. We're just going to we're going to mirror that season in a shorter format that allows people to participate. It doesn't have to be endurance races and 12s and 24s and all that. You know what I mean? So, I think that'd be a great way to do it. We'll see how things come together, but I think it's going to be great.
One more thing. I'm also excited since there's so many new people from Box 3 that are getting into iRacing. I'm really excited to see like what people in Box 3 do for the iRacing special events this year. Like seeing some Box 3 teams getting together to do like Le Mans 24 or Spa. I mean, Fuji's about to happen. So there's a lot
we need motorsports games.
Esports, so
we need motorsports games to give the IndyCar license back to iRacing so we can do the 500.
Just give them another year. They'll be bankrupt and you won't have to worry about it. It might take a year, but they're going to bankrupt themselves. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Maybe. They can't release a game that sells anything. So
sorry, Phil, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the other thing is also like I do also like the idea of like the kind of like cross pollination of like folks from different other NA communities that were participating in the IMSA race too. It gives an opportunity to like find new people in other areas, get to race in other other leagues and that kind of thing, bring them over to here, go over there,
Yep.
that kind of thing. I was really happy to
I
see
love
that.
seeing it because I mean, you guys know me. I'm a Discord floater. I'm pretty involved in the community, so I'm a part of tons of Discords, and I'm just like, oh, I know him. It's like I don't know these people from the other communities really well, like I do the Box 3 team, but like I know them. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
nice to see
Yeah.
some new names in here, familiar faces,
It
names,
is.
whatever you want to say. And welcome to Box 3. You know what I mean? For real.
And stick around because we love having
Yeah,
new
for
people
sure.
come in, new blood, get everything going. Huff, speaking of which, Huff, you're out there. First of all, again, happy birthday! And what do you?
Thank you.
I know you're not participating in the IMSA season, but what are
No,
you looking for? You know, between now and the end of the year, or with
Man.
iRacing or ACC, or what are you? Again, what are your hopes and dreams, man? Let's go.
The world.
World
Man,
domination.
joking
that's
either.
right.
Okay.
I mean, we do have a lot of cool stuff going on in the background. I just plugged a couple of Discords. Check them out. We've collaborated with some pretty fantastic people here lately. We have Williams Gaming Club. They're looking to get some events kicking off there. It's going to be a really exciting place to be if you're just a fan of motorsports and gaming in general. It's a cool community. Check them out. Good group of folks, obviously. And then we also put Motorsport UK link in there as well, which we've recently collaborated with them and kind of partnered up. We are now Box 3 as an official IMSA recommended community, so that's
Nice.
It's kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? Like for those in the know, that's a big deal, and I'm super proud of that partnership collaboration. So if you check that link, and also in our iRacing new users, we get a pretty sweet deal through them. You get a free year of iRacing for it's around about $30. So
Yeah.
you get a membership to Motorsport UK, which they host tons of amazing events as well, and they're actually sanctioned. So like they're pretty legit. There's some opportunity to get like actual seat time in a car. So like yeah, it's pretty cool. Check it out if you're new to iRacing. I did it. I made a new account just because I didn't have any content. And, you know what the hell? It's $30 for a year, and
Then
you get
why
the
aren't
F4
you
car
buying
for free.
all the gear for IMSA so you can race with us?
Because
just
$300, and
a ton
I
of
don't
money.
play that much. I don't have a ton of time to race, man.
So you
I'm
know,
busy
how
doing cool shit like this in the background. So.
in like
You are. I
in
know
real
that.
life, you have like the customer teams that show up for like 1 or 2 races a season. Like that could be like the start of your program. Just like show
Yeah.
up for a race or two.
Yep,
There you
I'll
go.
just do the local events. You know what I mean? So.
No, and I do want to mention, Huff, you mentioned Williams Racing Club. They they have an event this Saturday. So if head over there, check it out, see if you can get signed up. If there's still slots available, I believe there are.
There's a few for ACC.
Yeah, for ACC.
I may try to get in that honestly, because like for us, you know, Eastern time, it's 4:30 or 4 a.m. start time. So like, I can wake up and do some laps before I even cook breakfast. You know,
it's gonna be brutal.
Starts at 6. Starts
brutal.
at 6 a.m. our time.
Okay.
Well, 6 a.m. Eastern daylight. Yeah.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, because I think it starts noon UK. No, it might be 7. It might be 6, 7 o'clock somewhere.
Practice starts at 4:30. Qualifying, it's like 20 minutes, and then the race starts at 6:30.
Yeah.
But honestly, I haven't played ACC in like weeks. So
I'll tell you what, it
months,
feels so weird to break like the whole pedal, the way you handle balance everything. It's so weird going back and forth.
Yep. Maybe we should have touched on that a little bit when we were back and forth, like the comparison, especially talk about Ando, because I mean we speak on a pretty regular basis. When he's prepping for these comp team events, man, like it's a different ball game because we're playing iRacing through the week, you know, like casual stuff, you know, like the hourly races, and then he jumps in and he's like, oh shit, I have a brake pedal. What does this do?
You mean I can mash this all the way down?
Right.
Honestly, it's not even that. That's the real big thing. Honestly, the steering style between the two is massively different.
The feedback's different too. So like if you're looking for that to see what the car's doing, to feel what the car's doing, it's like it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
Like steering in iRacing, it's much more pointy. Where ACC, I felt like I was trying to turn the wheel like all the way, and I felt like I was getting massive understeer, but that's just what I was used to back then.
It's a big argument of like how force feedback is different between the two games, and I think the reason it's different in ACC and it's a lot better in ACC is because through the steering wheel, you not only feel your steering inputs, but you feel a lot more information that you don't usually feel on a regular car. Like if you drive your actual car, you don't feel the weight of your car through your steering wheel, but in ACC you do. So that there's a lot of stuff, and
Yeah, but that's because in ACC you have to.
Yeah, because it's a sim or a game that is made with the idea that like people are going to be driving it on consoles and on PC and stuff. Like they might not have all the equipment necessary to relay all those senses to you.
No, and I get
So
that. I guess what I'm saying is I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is it has to come through the wheel because that's the only place to feel it, right? So
yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is the way that they are pronouncing that. The same reason like I saw somebody comparing the audio and why the audio in ACC is a little bit turned up is because you need that information because you don't the developers are assuming that you don't have a 5-to-1 surround system to figure out where everything's coming from.
100%.
It's pretty cool.
It is the way they do things.
It's definitely pretty cool seeing how both sims differ from each other, trying to give you the same information.
Yeah. But they both do a great job.
They do
in different ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one of them like my credit card more than the other.
Yes.
But here's the thing: is there is a cost to iRacing, but if you're into multiplayer racing and you want to race multiplayer all the time, and that's like you don't want to have to look for a league, or you don't want to have to join a league, or you really can't beat the system, right? Like unless you're just interested in A, GT3, B, Monza, then you buy ACC, right? Like if you're not joining a league, I'm saying, right? Like if you're just going to go and look for pubs in ACC, if you enjoy GT3 and if you want to race at Monza, you're good. iRacing, it's 24/7 and there's a ton of different stuff. So
sell your house. You don't sell your house. You take a mortgage on the house.
There you go.
Get two tracks.
You just or a HELOC or something, Steven. Gee, you don't sell the whole place. Then you got nowhere to live.
Jesus.
Holy cow! You got to talk to these kids every day about finances.
He's on
it's
a
ridiculous.
street somewhere, just sidewalk with his rig.
There. Stealing electricity from a meter somewhere. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank Anderson, Retro, Phil, and Huff. Thank you guys so much for being here and joining me this week. It was good to get the gang back together and have a little bit of fun talking about this time iRacing and everything that's coming. We again will be back now. You guys saw the Sebring race is not until the following Saturday, so Recovery Drive will return after that race. No Recovery Drive next week. But if you got rigs that you want roasted, make sure you post them. If you got stuff you want to talk about, make sure you guys tag me in iRacing chat or in one of the chats that you have a question for the panel that we normally maybe wouldn't ask. Hit us up. It's a community show. So if you guys have questions or comments or things like that, please let me know beforehand. We'd be happy to share them. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to everybody for watching tonight. I hope everyone has themselves a great week. And again, we'll be back in just around 2 weeks. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week.